All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Group Chart Analysis. My apologies for yesterday. I was driving across the country, and I'm still driving. So I just didn't pull over. I kept going. So I looked at some of the pairs today. I actually didn't really look at them until like early this morning. There's a lot of setups coming that I'm actually really excited for because it's going to be some heavy drops coming for my four favorite pairs, or should I say 3 out of the 4, because I don't know what gold's going to do, but EU, GU, and AU are all looking to drop again. All of them. They're all going to drop. And that's really what I really want to touch on. So first off, here on the daily, we're seeing, or this is now, we're going on the weekly. Remember how we told that head and shoulders we wanted to possibly shoot up? Well, it never did, and it ultimately dropped, hence creating a lower low, right? Then it pulled back, formed that lower high, wicked at that Mayo on the week, threw an inverted hammer, and now what it's going to do is take that drop down just based off of the simple candlestick pattern right there, right? So let's take it to the next level, then we'll take it to the daily. Then you start looking at, well, Ryan, this doesn't look like a pattern whatsoever. Why would this go straight back down? It's going to go straight back down, one, because it's just based off of this time frame, there is no trend. So when it comes to the rules, they can be bent. All I see is that this is a new low, this is a new high. The pattern that it formed to shoot down is a little weird, but that's what happens when it's in a state of just no trending. It's completely fringing. So if you go to the 4 hour, this is what I'm seeing. You guys see me talk about this shit all the time. First off, it's divergent, right? So you have the overbought. It's divergent since last week from here to here. Normally somebody's going to think, hey, maybe this is going to be the right shoulder or something. Well, here's the thing. If it wants to be the right shoulder, it's got to drop down to this level first, to this low, to then pull back up to form the right shoulder, because where it's at isn't even a shoulder. This is just the second consecutive drop that's guaranteed to go down to a specific point before it decides to shoot up. And on top of that, if you're seeing this, look at the TDI. It's beneath the stationary 50. It broke out of a consolidation with overbought zone. It was squeezing. It broke out, completely reversed. This TDI isn't even going to go back up. It's going to go straight back down. That's outside the volatility band, hence giving it the momentum it needs to shoot it down right to the take profit tonight. Tonight, this week, it's going to happen like soon. And EU actually already started dropping. I have a couple trades in it already, but it's looking good for tonight. This is going to be a continued drop just based off of this time frame. So this is the 4 hour. I'm just letting you know that it will be dropping tonight, going into tomorrow. Right now it's beneath the stationary 50. It bounced off of that Mayo yesterday. It's in between the EMAs. The most I could see this thing possibly doing is hitting that blueberry and then coming back up for a retest of that high. So if you missed the initial entries, I mean, I got in a little early, but I understand the overall pattern. I know where it's going to go. If this thing decides, if it pushes up, you guys can place pendings at like these highs, right? Like at the water, at the Mayo, if you want. You can place pendings and then just wait patiently. Because once it decides to break out of this low, this thing is dropping all the way down to that line. Hence why that's my take profit. And that's a good, I don't know, 50 pips or something. If we're going on the 4, this is the hour. My lowest amount of pips. So if we're going from here to here, that's 65 pips from there, and I had an entry up top, which is 75. So this is going to be a nice 50 to 75 pip catch. Probably 50 if you guys already entered. It's still dropping. So we'll see how that goes, but expect to drop. I didn't look at gold, but gold's been correlating nicely with EU. So I mean, there's a couple things this could do. It could automatically keep dropping, which it could do. I mean, gold's a very unique pair, but we'll have to see how this goes, because right now it's not really looking like anything. It's pre-oversold, but this thing can continue to shoot down, and that's on the RSI at least. The daily, it's a little confusing here in the daily because it kind of looks like it could shoot up like this and then drop. I just don't like the look of this RSI right now, because normally when I see this, I predict another push up, but it's in its own little pattern now. So sometimes EU and gold don't have to correlate properly, but I do expect EU to be dropping, and then if gold is correlating with it, it could drop as well. I just don't like where it's at this very moment. So if you want to do like technicals, I mean, you can take from the low here. You can see that it broke it down to the low. You can even come down up to here. So it'd be coming down. See how technical this pair is? Bounced here, bounced here, bounced here, bounced here. It broke it, so this might be getting ready for some sort of consolidation.
You don't want to see it break that low pretty heavy.
It could break that low. So like on the hour here.
Well, I'm just saying I wouldn't enter it until it breaks that low at least.
Oh yeah. The fact that I'm even like struggling right now trying to talk about it should be a sign not to take it, because normally if it's simple and obvious, it will be. If this is not simple and obvious, it's like asking for trouble. So like, I'm just gonna be honest and tell you guys to hold off on gold.
Yeah, I'd wait.
It's a commodity. There's no need to rush. What's up?
It's right in the middle anyway. It's not even.
Exactly. So you guys know that. Buy low, sell high. You don't play the middle. It's no man's land. You don't touch it. So we're just gonna wait and see what gold does. Then we'll react to it. But if I'm going off of EU, and I don't care what gold does, because EU looks clean and it does the same shit every time. GU. Now, GU, I knew it was going to drop. I thought it was going to kind of consolidate a little bit more before it did it. But good news, this is going to keep dropping. I do expect a nice pullback, but if we're looking here in the 4 hour, well, let me go to the weekly. Weekly, it still hasn't hit the catch up, but it's not completely overbought. I think it needs to drop down to that recent low again and retest it for a sell. I have Fibonacci drawn up here based off the weekly, but it didn't throw a nice pattern. So it's like, I don't even want to use Fibonacci, hence why I never really use them anyway. The daily bounced right off the water, which is nice. Nice pattern. 4 hour kind of threw that M, and then there was some news and whatnot. It started the week off low. But the thing that gets me as to why I believe this thing's going to be a continued drop, which it's looking like it's doing right now, is the fact that, again, look at the RSI. That's outside the volatility band, beneath the stationary 50. There is no sign of anything. Like, this thing could be the most it would do is come back into the volatility band for a second, but I would still expect this thing to keep dropping. So I'm going to look for this thing to pretty much just go right into the oversold zone and just break out and continues. I don't see any signs of it slowing down. So if the first place it could go to, if you're looking at this for a selling point, would be about here, the low from 2 weeks ago. So 1.28031. I think it's gonna go straight to it. Like, I don't even see a pullback. I mean, if you guys are looking for precision, what you can do with this is wait for it to bounce up, because it's right now it's testing this low. The best position would be for it to hit the water. If it hits the water, which it hasn't done, you're golden. Fucking take the sell. But that would be my opinion. The most it would do for a reversal, for Monday, could shoot up, could come up to that Mayo, then decide to drop. So this is another pair that I could see. It could possibly pull up, but overall I do see dropping. But on the hour, I mean, it doesn't even look like it was going to do anything crazy. It just looks like a continued drop. So just hold on to it. Be patient with it and look for a sell tonight. AU as well. It's the same shit. Sitting in that supply zone. It's outside the volatility band. Hence, what I'm seeing with this is that it's got one more shot down into that oversolds region on the weekly. So we are going to be expecting sells. It's divergent here on the daily, but that, again, doesn't mean shit. Especially with AUD, it can continue down in that direction as long as it's consolidating in and out of the stationary 50 from the bottom to the top here. It's still a valid sell until something gives us that access point to buy it, which it would need on the daily to break that water. And if it doesn't, then we're not looking for overall buys. Anything on a buy on this scale right now is technically a pullback. which you can play on a smaller time frame, but you don't play that shit for the long term. I think that this thing's actually going to keep dropping down to that low yesterday. RSI hasn't formed any patterns. It's divergent here on the 4 hour, but I still think it's got to form a pattern on this one part of it just before it decides to shoot up. So we'll be seeing how that goes. I'm expecting to drop right now. There's news on AUD in 3 hours and 15 minutes. So for the short term right now, I'm expecting this thing to take another drop. All right, so that's the month. I honestly think it could go lower. That's my opinion. I'm thinking if it decides, if it breaks this trend line, it'll tank. It'll tank right down to that support line that I have, which is at 0.71566. So that would be ideal. EU still looks the best though. Like out of all these pairs, EU looks the cleanest. U Chief, it's setting up. It's been divergent for a minute. This thing looks like it could shoot up, which would be nice because if EU drops, U Chief will rise, and these pairs are inverse pairs. So this definitely is getting ready. Yeah, this is getting ready to shoot up. So you'll be looking for this thing to shoot up to that 4 hour water. It's pretty much where it's gonna go. It's gonna come out of the volatility band here. And once it does, it's gonna make its way slowly to that water, which you guys can grab intraday trades to the upside as it progresses to take out these EMAs. Because the first place it's going to after tonight, if it breaks out to the upside, is right up to that Mayo, which would come out of this volatility band, pushing it into the overbought zone. So that's what we would be looking for. I guess on a smaller time frame, like the 15-minute, there's really no clean pattern because it's stuck in between the EMAs right now. I mean, what you could do is, if you want, you could place like a pending right at that recent low from yesterday. However you want to do it. But the best choice would be, stop, hunt low, drop. So, because I think it's got one more push down to possibly get some more sellers involved, and they're going to come away from it and trap them. What's this? What was a good pending order for EU? Yesterday's high. So it'd be like right here. You can go based off of this high or this wick. Like that's where I place my pending order. Like I have a sell limit up here, but I didn't place it till yesterday, to earlier today. So I've already been in 2 trades. I think it's gonna just tank here though. I think it's not even gonna pull back up though. I think it's just gonna completely tank, which would be fucking amazing if it does. I think this thing is tanking. I think it's gonna take before London session. I can take my profit. UCAD, hello there. Bounced right off the Mayo. Let's go to the weekly. Wow, wicked hard off the water. This thing is continuing up. No sign of divergence. No sign of slowing down. This thing is going to continue to rise. Not even divergent on the out. You guys are looking for buys. So pullbacks, buys. Up until this is breaking. It's hitting a support line right now. Right here. But it could come up to here. So if it breaks this one, it's going up to this one, which is, if it breaks 1.31092, it's going to go up to 1.31681, which is 70 pips, 68 pips, 60, whatever it is. UJ, I'm going to be looking for some buys on this one. I just can tell based off of the analysis from before. Weekly is above the stationary, but it's inside the volatility band, which is what I don't like. There's no patterns. It's all wasted time and energy. Daily through a railroad. This thing's dropping. It's going to drop down to the blueberry again, 4 hour. And I say that because the RSI, or the low here, doesn't look good when it comes like this. It needs to take another shot down. It's not even looking right. Price is pointing down hella. So we'll be looking for this thing to take another dip down to that blueberry on the 4 hour. Yep, that's what you're looking for. GJ would probably be the same shit, honestly. Yeah, this thing's dropping. Straight drop. This thing's gonna just keep tanking. Yeah, GJ, just expect a continuation drop. Like, if I'm gonna say the same thing. If it pulls back, goes to that water, doesn't break it, sell it. If it breaks that water, goes up a little bit, hits these EMAs around this zone, sell it. But you're ultimately gonna be selling it. But where to? Where to? These lows. I don't even like these lows. They don't look good. You could keep dropping down to that low, because that's a lower low, lower high. This thing can drop all the way back down towards the low. So I'm going to say that. First place would probably be 142.218. That'd be like the best place. But if it breaks that, it's dropping all the way back down to the low, which it's looking like it will. EA. Remember I told you guys to be patient with the reversal on EA? Back when it came up to this area, hit that zone. And I started telling you guys I would hold off, because once it hits that supply zone, it's also hitting off of what? The highs of here from April and March. And it's not breaking it. And it's divergent. Horrible. You guys got it from here. Price be going up crazy, right? So we still got time. This thing could be forming an insane head and shoulders where it comes up again, drops, pulls back, drops again. Like, this thing could be set up for a nice reversal, but still too early. Still ain't shit. I would touch this pair for another sell until it breaks this water completely, for it to pull back to it and then go to the band. So continue up to that high. You can place pendings. I don't even want to say pendings. Just watch it. Keep playing it until it decides to form a double top, and then wait for it to break the low of this double top here. Once it breaks it, you can look for that re-entry right about there, which the water will be lining up with it like this as well, and the drop down to at least a male. That would be ideal. But we'll see how that plays out. EA is not the best pair to trade right now. GA is looking good for a sell, actually. An ugly pattern daily. I don't know what the fuck that is. Dropped hard last week. Yeah, this week too. This one looks like it could do this. Go up to that water, and then bang. And then bang, bang, bang. Consolidate. That's off the hour, so if you have a 15-minute, that's what I'd be looking for, honestly, is just shot up here where it consolidates in the zone and then a drop again, straight drop. You guys can even draw out some lines, like a channel, small time frame channel. Here to here, see how it goes. And then if it takes out that channel line, it's going to drop to the blueberry on the 15-minute, which is the order in the hour, or the May on the hour. So that's what you're looking for that. G-Chief. Pretty sure we had this thing continuing to drop ever since last week. So continued to drop. Daily's not showing any signs of it stopping. Weekly's not showing any signs of it. It just broke the highs. Keep selling. G-Chief. Pullback, stop hunts high. Hour, this is low. So best case scenario would be a push up and then a drop. So stop on high, drop. You're looking for continued drops. And then You cheap. Why is you cheap? Oh, I already did that. All right, bet. All right, cool. Yeah, gold is still EU is still the best setup for me. I honestly believe it. Gold don't touch. GU is going to be a drop. A is going to be drop. UCAD or U cheap's going to be looked for being a rise. UCAD's going to keep rising. UJ would possibly be another drop down to that low. GJ would be a drop. EA would be wait for the pattern, but it could drop. GA is definitely looking good for a drop, and then G cheap drop. They're all dropping. Everything's falling. Everything is selling except U chief. So, if anybody have any questions? If not, then we're gonna kick this fucking week off the right way. We're gonna make some catch some pips and make some money. 1 second. Oh, someone's talking. What'd you say? UCAD good to get in now? No. I don't play UCAD like that. I mean, if this breaks out, then yeah, it's gonna be a good time. But I'm more on precision, and like I think this thing could shoot down before it goes back up. That would be your best idea. Like you taking a trade right now is guessing. You know what I mean? There's nothing telling me right now that this is for sure an entry. Like I could take a trade, overall be right, but then that's taking hella drawdown, and that you don't want that. I'd rather just like wait for it to pull back, and then look for an entry for a buy after that. That'd be the best case scenario. There's no need to take a guess and be like, oh, I could get this pair. You know what I mean? Yeah, snipers. It's all it is. You're just waiting for the set. We all know it's going up, right? So you got to think of it like this. If you know it's going up, imagine if you were a market maker and you knew that this pair was going to go up. You knew people were going to start buying it. And you look at the price and how far it's been buying, and you deal with inexperienced traders. Everybody that understands that this thing's going to be going up, they know that they're going to start buying. They're just going to buy, and they're not going to think about their leverage. They're not going to think about their account size. They're just going to start buying because they don't know what the fuck they're doing. So that's what they wait for. They wait for positioning like this after these 3 pushes. It's been literally 3 days, 1, 2, 3 days of rise. This is where people come in and they're like, yo, everyone start buying some because it finally is making a move. It's starting to trend. It's going to be crazy. And the market makers know that. Everything goes in threes. So what they do is then they will consolidate it, throw some double tops, drop it, hit the stops at the margin levels, and then ultimately reverse it back up with the overall trend. It's all psychological. It's just understanding that, oh, it's at a high. It's at such a high zone that it would be stupid to buy right now because you understand that the market structure is up, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. So this is a higher high. You want to wait for the next higher low for you to get a nice entry to take it at least back up to that recent high so it can at least form a double top. Or if it breaks it, you know you at least got a guaranteed take profit. So it's like, I like guaranteed pips. That's what I like. All right, people. I'm going to hop off now. Everyone have a great night. Catch these pips. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.